Welcome to Let Us Seek the Lord. Today is June 28th, 2 days away from midway through the year. And we are on Deuteronomy chapter 33 and 34. This is one of those rare occasions where we have two chapters, but then chapter 34 is pretty short. So let's read. Now this is the blessing which Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, The Lord came from Sinai and dawned on them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand, came a fiery law for them. Yes, he loves the people. All the saints are in your hand. They sit down at your feet. Everyone receives your words. And Moses commanded a law for us, a heritage from the congregation of Jacob. He was king in Jeshurun. When the leaders of the people were gathered and the tribes of Israel together, let Reuben live and not die, nor let his men be few. And this he said of Judah, Hear the Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him to his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and may you be a help against his enemies. And of Levi he said, Yet your Thummim and your Urim be your Holy One, whom you tested at Massah, and with whom you contended at the waters of Meribah. Who says of his father and mother, I have not seen them, nor did he acknowledge his brothers, or know his own children? For they have observed your word, they've kept your covenant, and they shall teach Jacob your judgments, and Israel your law. They shall put incense before you, and a whole burnt sacrifice on your altar. Bless his substance, Lord, and accept the work of his hands. Strike the loins of those who rise against him, and of those who hate him, that they may not rise again. Who shelters him all day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. And of Joseph, he said, Blessed of the Lord is his land, with the precious things of heaven, with the dew, with the deep lying beneath, with precious fruits of the sun, with precious produce of the months, with the best things of the ancient mountains, with the precious things of the everlasting hills, with the precious things of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwelt in the bush. Let the blessing come on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him who is separate from his brothers. His glory is like the firstborn bull, his horns like the horns of the wild ox. Together with them he shall push the peoples to the ends of the earth. They are the 10,000s of Ephraim, they are the thousands of Manasseh, and of Zebulun, he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar in your tents. They shall call the peoples to the mountain, and they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness. For they shall partake of the abundance of the seeds, and of the treasures hidden in the sand. Of Gad he said, Blessed is he who enlarges Gad. He dwells as a lion. He tears the arm and the crown of his head. He provided the first part for himself because the lawgiver's portion was reserved there. He came with the heads of the people. He administered the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan, he said, Dan's a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan. And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full of blessing of the Lord, possess the west and the south. And of Asher, he said, Asher is the most blessed of sons. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him dip his foot in oil. Your sandals shall be from iron and bronze, and in your days so shall your strength be. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides the heavens to help you, and his excellency on the clouds. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He'll thrust out the enemy from before you, and he'll say, Destroy, and Israel shall dwell in safety. The fountain of Jacob alone, in a land of grain and new wine, his heavens shall also drop dew. Happy are you, Israel. Who's like you, a people saved by the Lord, the shield of your help, the sword of your majesty? Your enemies shall submit to you, and you shall tread down their high places. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which is across from Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead as far as Dan, all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim, and Manasseh, and the land of Judah, as far as the western sea, the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, and the city of palm trees, as far as Zoar. And the Lord said to him, This is the land of which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I give it to your descendants. I've caused you to see it with your eyes, and you shall not cross over there. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor. But no one knows his grave to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were not dim, nor his natural vigor diminished. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab for 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses ended. Now Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. So the children of Israel heeded him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. But since then there's not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. In all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt before Pharaoh, before all his servants, and in all his land. And by all that mighty power and all the great terror which Moses performed in the sight of all Israel. For me to live is Christ, to die is gain. I know those are the words of Paul, but here's an illustration of those words. How do we prepare to die? We prepare by living in the presence of the Lord. Moses blessed all the tribes of Israel. That's what all the names were about. In case you don't know the 12 names of the tribes of Israel, you should learn them. How could he do otherwise? How could he do anything but bless them before he died? He'd spent the last 40 years living in the presence of the Lord and with his rebellious people. The character of the Lord was shining through him. Moses proceeds to the top of Mount Pisgah. And there the Lord gives him a virtual tour of the promised land, beginning from the north all the way to the south. And there Moses died. Jude 9 says, Yet Michael the archangel, in contending with the devil when he disputed about the body of Moses, dared not bring against him a reviling accusation, but said, The Lord rebuke you. I wonder, did Moses watch that come down? Did he see it before he left spiritually into the presence of the Lord? There the Lord buried the body of Moses. He's the only person in the Bible that it says that the Lord buried him. What an intimate picture. Do you suppose the Spirit of the Lord stood and watched while the Lord buried that old tabernacle? When the Lord was done, did he turn to Moses and say, Come on, Mo, let's go home? But Moses already communicated with him face to face, and I think he already was at home, because wherever the Lord was, that's what home was. It was just that Moses could now see his glory unrestrained. Father, help us to understand that in the midst of our lives, that no matter what is going on, no matter what is happening, whether we live the entirety of our lives in a wilderness, having to live on miraculous bread every day that we get tired of, or having to live on miraculous water that comes from a rock when spoken to or struck, having to live with the miracle twice a year of birds coming by and flying so low that we could hit them with a baseball bat and bring them out of the air. Lord, while those are miraculous things, I can see how we get tedious, but nevertheless, it tells us what you're like and what we're like and how we tend to complain. But what you promised is not rich food, nice houses, good plumbing. What you promised us is that you will be with us. Thank you for being with us. I thank you that, well, I just ask that when I get to the end of this life and you come for me, I want to hear you say, okay, John, you ready to go home? I think would want to be able to say, Lord, wherever you're at, it's home. Wherever you're at is home. It's not about mansions just over the hilltop or one day flying away. Lord, it's being with you. Let me experience you like that, God. Let the people who hear this voice, the words that I've read today, know that it's being with you. Amen. Well, we certainly serve a glorious King. So I would say, speak his glory to someone today.